Cheers, guys. Epix 911, welcome to the Elitist Gamer. Okay, I have had some time to calm down. I'm a little bit more relaxed than yesterday when I got the Oculus Rift news. I'm still freaking pissed off, still fuming, but I've had some time to think about it. I've had some time to put things into perspective, as it were. Here's what I've thought about. In a sense, to me, it's a bit of a betrayal of trust to the Kickstarter backers. I'm a huge proponent of Kickstarter and the spirit of Kickstarter. And the spirit of Kickstarter to me is allowing entrepreneurs, allowing people with a niche vision that wouldn't otherwise be able to get that product or service to market. Kind of like a version of the Dragon's Den, except we don't so much share in the profits of the final product, but we do share in the development of the final product. And more often than not, there's a consumer version in it for us, for the early adopters. Case in point, I'm a Wasteland 2 backer, and I've not been shy about my feelings towards Brian Fargo. I loved Interplay when I was younger. I still have confidence Brian Fargo will deliver the game he promised. But, and here's the caveat, I don't like the way he's gone about it. He hasn't been outright underhanded, but he's certainly skirted around the spirit of Kickstarter. And that's the pissoir that I have with the Oculus Rift folks. Skirting around the spirit of Kickstarter. With Brian Fargo, it was the early access release, starting a second game before finishing the first. All of those scream to me of a business that was behind in its cash flow. A business that was desperate to drum up more cash. Now, I suppose you could look at it and you could say, okay, well, what's the alternative, Epix? The company goes under and we don't get the game at all. True. That's a possibility. That's an inherent risk any of us who back Kickstarter products make. Right? That's an inherent risk. No disputing that whatsoever. But be honest. I'm sure had Brian Fargo gone to the fans, I'm sure had he let them know where we were at in terms of as a company with production on the game, yes, there would have been some initial backlash, but people would have understood. That's honesty. Fast forward to the Oculus Rift folks. I'm sorry guys, I need another swig of beer here because I'm still really, really bitter about this. The Oculus Rift folks couldn't get even a prototype to market. A fully functioning prototype without the assistance of the Kickstarter backers. Then there was the infusion of $45 million shortly after Carmack came on board. And I think Carmack, acting CTO, I think that's a great thing. He's a visionary. He's a freaking awesome programmer. He thinks ahead. I think the games have gotten a little stale on the id front, but I think he'd be the first to acknowledge that. But when it comes to 3D technology, other than the Unreal folks, I think the id folks are probably second best in understanding 3D technology and having been instrumental in how 3D technology has evolved from VGA graphic cards to graphic accelerated video cards. The $45 million cash infusion made some sense. It made some sense. It wasn't a selling of the company. It was getting additional resources to help deliver to the backers without selling your identity without changing ownership. The deal with Facebook is a fundamental shift in that philosophy. It's selling out in every fucking definition of the word selling out. It is a sellout. The Facebook overlords, the kings of Candy Crush and Farmsville, if you will be the new overlords of your virtual reality and my virtual reality kingdom. And what's the beauty in all of this? Who wins in all of this? Sony. And again, I mentioned it in a fucking earlier video. Like with Xbox One, Sony had to do nothing other than just stand back and say, holy fuck, they fucked up big time. Let's not do that. And with the Oculus Rift, shortly after Morpheus is announced, they've already got an upswing in terms of support. The specs are released. The specs are pretty much bang on for Oculus Rift. The device is Sony styling, as only Sony knows. The only thing missing is the appeal of the underdog, the appeal of the PC gamer. And then, seemingly on the heels of this news of Project Morpheus being released, Facebook purchases Oculus Rift. And Sony, still standing in the wings, still lavishing under the applause, basks in the backlash against Oculus by the initial backers. Now, I should be upfront and say I was not a backer of Oculus Rift in terms of finances. So in some ways, I've got no fucking right to comment. All right? I was a Wasteland 2 backer. My comments on that stand. But as an observer, I can comment. And I will stand by what I say. It was a sellout. It should have had at least some input. They should have at least sold it, marketed, whatever fucking terminology you want to use, some communication with the backers that this was the intention. Look, when you're a backer, you're not entitled to share in the business plan or the strategy or the mission. I understand that. But the goodwill of sharing that would have made this a lot more palatable for the fans to fucking swallow compared to this horse jism. Those were my thoughts. Sony wins by doing, again, nothing. Just not doing what the other guys are doing. And in this case, not even doing that, just standing back. Amazing. Fucking incredible. What do you guys think? Sony win out of all of this? Yes, Oculus Rift has a cash infusion, but they've got Facebook overlords. And we don't know what that's going to look like. And as with yesterday, all we can do is wait and speculate until we hear more. Because again, just as with the sale, other than the little Reddit, which was really just ass covering 101, we're still no wiser. We still don't understand the reasoning. Because according to that Reddit, a sale was inevitable. Okay, well if that's the case, tell us why. Anyways, before I fume up again, let me know your thoughts, guys. As always, cheers.